Welcome to The Experience Today, where we explore the fascinating intersections of psychology, the human experience, and American politics.
Welcome, everyone, to this evening episode of Experience Today. I am one of your esteemed hosts, Mr. Roderick Threets, and over in my virtual right-hand side, coming out of the today, she's in the great state of New York. And contrary to people's belief, New York is still a great place. We have to keep that where it is. But my lovely co-host, Ms. Valerie Zen, we're going to do what we always do, collide psychology with politics, and I'm sure this episode is going to be a banger like the rest of them. So, without further ado, we're going to slide into this. Ms. Val, how you doing, girl? What you doing? What you doing up there?
I'm sitting here looking out at the Hudson River.
Yeah.
With all the trees just starting to, turn slightly orange. It's actually beautiful up here. I'm not in New York City. I'm 2 hours north of New York City.
Right.
And, went to Rhinebeck today and got all full of falafel.
Oh, wow.
The best falafel I've had in like 30 years. I mean, it was just crazy, delicious, wonderful. And I'm catching up with some of my shopping on special things I always got up here. So life is good this week. I am watching the weather, though, and getting a little nervous about hurricanes, but my fingers are crossed that I'll make it home without too much interruption.
I am sure you're going to be okay. It is kind of late because we both know that September is like that time, like, unless you have like what happened with Nicole, right, 3-4 years ago with Nicole, how it just came out of nowhere in November.
Mm-hmm.
September is usually the month, right? So September has been calm for now, but again, right, a week from now could be different. But it's been
I'm hearing
cooled
October we might get it again. That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I hope I'm right and they're wrong.
Well, I am in agreement. Yeah, I hope they're wrong. Except, some of the people I listen to that do the weather, since I was flying for so many years with my late husband, I really understand the weather patterns and how they affect these storms. And there's going to be a change in the next week or two. So, we just have to watch this real closely.
Oh, no doubt, 100%. So who done it? Who did it? What are we doing?
I want to know who did it.
No Diddy.
Somebody took my baby.
That's right. No Diddy, y'all. No Diddy. And I'm not talking about Bo. No Bo Diddley.
That's right. I think, I'm sure you'll agree with me, if we don't, at this point, it's not about a person. It's okay to get the person, obviously, who shot the gun. But who shot the sheriff? It's kind of like, okay, who started this? Who's behind this person? And then who's behind those people? And who's behind those people?
Mm-hmm.
The real issue is who's behind all of this insanity we've been watching for 20 years.
Right.
And if you really look at it closely, which we're now being forced to, and everybody is.
Correct.
Everybody with half a brain. I mean, some people are so delirious, they don't know that anything is happening. They don't even know who got voted in as president last time. They just don't care. Those are the weird ones to me. They're kind of the robotic souls that just choose not to think.
I agree. I agree with you 100%.
Right. So, first of all, if we don't figure this out, we're doomed to be taken over, lock, stock, and barrel by the CCP or jihad.
Right.
And I'm not personally clear on how those two come together. The only thing I see is that they all agree they've got to, take over the United States.
Right.
And they've got to get rid of billions of people. Yeah, they're both. I think they're both going to fight each other eventually. Their plan is to join forces to destroy us, and then one of them will destroy the other one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's I mean, we're at a point where there at this point there's no such thing as shared mutual destruction, right?
No.
That's not happening, right? Because again, with the tale of events that has happened, right? It it has ensured the total destruction of one. And I'm not saying again, bodies on the floor. I'm not saying that, but the complete destruction of an ideology that has been destructive and evil in this country for over 100 years. It came to a fester point on September 10th.
Yep.
It come to a festering point. And the thing is they've tried, right? They've tried to obfuscate this since then. Oh, it's the Groypers and Nick Fuentes and all these different people. And their charging sheet came out today. And I'm like, the whole narrative coming from both sides of the political spectrum has been completely destroyed per that charging sheet. Because everybody, right, everybody that has a mind of their own that will read that charging sheet, it's going to make complete perfect sense how the media on both sides try to obfuscate this whole thing, including the social media narrative, right?
Absolutely.
But to your question, though, right, who done it? Where do we start on who done it? Right. I mean, we can take many angles.
Yeah.
Right. We can go back to the start of the 20th century. Right. We can start the early 20th century where we had to deal with, quote unquote, for anti-Semitism from the left and the right. At the turn of the century, we had to deal with the ethnophobia from both sides, right? And then the infiltration of the communists, right, into our society. That's brought all this to a boiling point, right? I mean, I think people forget about the McCarthy era, right?
Sure.
People forget about the McCarthy era, right? And how all that has came into play. Everybody wants to point fingers. No, it wasn't me. It was you. It was me. It was you. No, that's not that. The gaslighting, right? And then coming.
Well, that's what's going on now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting because if you just look at the European countries in this moment, like Germany, England, and France,
right,
supposedly are European allies. They have taken in the monsters from the jihad, millions and millions and millions, and they see where that has gotten them. They're starting to really open their eyes and say, uh-oh, we made a mistake. All of our women are getting raped. We have all this, economic insanity going on, and we can't continue like this. So therefore, they've been making deals with the CCP and the Chinese economy, so to speak, to try to save themselves. However, we've been doing in the Chinese economy, and we should not be finished with that, because honestly, for every day that you support the money that goes to communist China, you're just allowing this to continue for as long as it can possibly continue, which, I don't know. Steve Bannon said something, I think it was yesterday. He said, in the next 2 weeks, we are about to see the fall of the Roman Empire.
Right.
And I just sat there and I said, oh, that's a huge statement. That's huge. Like, who would be the fallen in the Roman Empire? So, okay, so actually, just with that statement, we know that Trump landed in England today, to the heart of the financial district.
Right.
With all the financial giants. Now, we've all known that a great part of this shift, this change, this new frequency, this good and evil, this whole thing that's been going on for so long. Just even looking at the finances. What is he doing there?
Right.
Mm-hmm. And some of us were talking the other night about, switching our currency or running this parallel currency for a while until it actually switches into the new stable coin, gold-backed currency, Bitcoin currency, however it's going to spell itself out. It's got to start with the Bank of England, the Vatican, and New York.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's who Trump is. I mean, this is what he loves, aside from building.
Right.
He doesn't want to see this whole economy fall. He's protecting our economy right now with what he's up to. And I'm not clear in this moment what he's up to. I just know he's up to something. And it could be something really terrific for us if we're not red flagged, distracted with something much bigger. We just were.
Right.
We just were distracted and played with Charlie Kirk. This was to take us away from looking at something they did not want us to see.
That's very true.
So, these are all the red flags. We actually have to be very cognizant of distractions and red flags right now, going forward in the next few months, big time, because it's going to protect ourselves. If we see that physically and emotionally this stuff really gets to us, then we're going to lose. We have to realize that this is what's happening. These are distractions and red flags. Mm-hmm. I could think of a million things they could pull on us now. Right. Joe Biden dropped dead. This one was shot. And listen, reality, a Democrat has to be shot next so that the whole world reverberates and blames it on someone on the other side. This could be a tit for tat. So be aware of that so that we don't get eaten up alive by this. This is going to get ugly.
Yes, it will.
Right. So if we know that, take that silent space that I talked about last week that nobody could listen to. Recognize that most people are delirious.
Right.
I was talking to one of Randy's friends today on FaceTime who lives in LA, and her parents' house was burned down to the ground in Palisades. And wow. I said to her, I hope you're going to get rid of that governor you have, that Newsom. Honestly, Rod, she just looked at me like she did not know what the hell I was talking about.
Wow, really?
Yeah, they don't even realize the root of the problems that they're dealing with out there. They don't even see that they're being controlled. They don't even see what the governor is doing. He turned the water off again. I mean,
yes, he did.
Honestly. So recognizing that element is riding alongside of us in this moment is important for us to keep ourselves sane.
Right.
That's all.
That's right.
And the devil has no logic. End of that story.
Right.
Right. The devil has no logic. So I was reading an article in The American Thinker, which I always read.
Right.
And this fellow was writing about how we do not need to get together. We do not need to reach out. We do not need unity or any other marshmallow soft euphemism for surrender and cowardice. That's big.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we protect ourselves as well.
Yep. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Don't try to make friends with the devil. We're done. We've all, and see, the thing is, they want us divided, and they want us fighting each other. But I'm not saying to fight it. I'm saying to choose to walk away from it and don't see it, because there is no possibility of making friends with this. the angry people that are out there burning Charlie Kirk's memorial and screaming at people, having vigils, and saying he deserved it. Teachers in classrooms are telling their students he deserved it.
Yep.
You got to see this level of insanity, and you got to check your own children and grandchildren if they're in school that they're even hearing this, because that needs to be reported. That needs to be taken on, and that's the little bit of action everybody can take with their own children and grandchildren.
Right.
Checking in with them and making sure that they're not hearing this kind of gibber, because it's poison and it's toxic, and that will serve that negative purpose that we're trying to put aside and say, I'm not listening to you anymore, not hearing you anymore, and I'm not talking anymore. There's nothing to say.
Right.
Nothing. I don't want to shake your hand.
Right.
Right. Exactly. So this guy brought in, we have to reject all of that because it would be moral suicide. True. So he brought up Kyle Rittenhouse, and he said the 3 Antifa thugs shot in self-defense by Kyle Rittenhouse included a sex offender, a lunatic released that morning, and a petty criminal. Simple fact deliberately hidden by media, along with some help from people too busy reaching out to make necessary distinctions.
Right.
By their fruits ye shall know them. Among those fruits is why they do to kids.
That's right.
Kids.
Yep.
Focus on the children, right?
Yep.
We've been saying this for years and years.
Yes, we have.
When you get down to the roots of all of this, it's the reason I think Trump, one of the reasons he decided to come back is he saw the horror of what's happening to the children.
Right.
The cartels selling our children, their children, the children over the border, stolen children, sex slavery, organ harvesting. That shit is real. 500,000 real. And I know we've caught like maybe 3,000 or 4,000 kids so far going into these houses that people have taken them to.
Right.
It's not enough. We're gonna shut down the whole industry. So, in terms of the children, the murder in the womb, the younger people don't get this concept. They think that even though abortion wasn't in the Constitution, times have changed. I don't say anything anymore.
Right. You can't.
I can't.
You can't.
I can't. No. So we need to have more laws to allow. Oh, well, if you brought, this is the argument I had with someone. If you brought guns into the state has the right to, let's see, open carry, concealed carry, you can carry, you can't carry. How is that any different because it was written in the Constitution?
Right.
Well, my answer to that very gently to those people is that this is a God-given right. This is not abortion. If you think that God would ever touch abortion, you're crazy. And I think it should all be taken out of all the states and there be nothing. I'm a libertarian, and so are a lot of people I know. Just get the government out of our frickin' hair already.
Right.
And let's live by God's rule and what the Constitution gave us, which was part of God's rule.
Right.
It's
right.
that simple. And if somebody can't understand that, don't waste your time.
Right. Yeah, exactly the point. Exactly the point. These people think that they're what they branded right, as liberty, or let's bastardize liberty a second, liberation, right? Because everything with these people is always about liberation. What are you liberating? Today, you're liberating black people. The next day, you're liberating LGBTQ, right? That's all. We don't
Exactly.
hear liberty, we hear liberation. And with liberation comes violence, right? Violent revolution is what the ends to the means for liberation, right? But again, right, going back to the root cause of this, right? And I touched on a little bit of it last night with that preacher, right?
Oh, yeah.
How he had the cross of Jesus being held by a communist fist, right?
Yeah.
That's the infiltration, right? Because we know commies never liked religion. They pretended they liked the religion, like Stalin and like Lenin. They praised the Russian Orthodox Church. But people, please do remember, they also wiped out the clergy in these Russian Orthodox churches also. Right. But in this case, as the government says, we're anti-commie, or we're you know what I mean, we're friends with the Jews. They're everything but. They're everything but that. So they will infiltrate again the churches, and we're gonna, again, I don't want to say the black churches. I gave that example last night. I'm broadening it to every church, right? Because we know that the government itself, the state itself, is actually sponsors what I call state atheism, which basically means we're not going to particularly uphold a religion, but we'll demonize most of them, but we'll really demonize Christianity. But in order to corrupt Christianity, we're going to send the yes men down to the pulpits, right? In all over the nation, where it be Ebenezer Baptist Church, where Raphael Warnock is, or the guy I talked about last night, or the Joel Osteens.
Yep.
Excuse me, right? These guys with these mega churches, these are the festering grounds of these type of ideologies that got Charlie Kirk assassinated. These are the
Absolutely.
proving grounds, right? Because as someone had mentioned to me before on a TikTok live, right? These people, once you've been told these different things from thought leaders in your particular communities, closer knit communities, right? You start believing these things, right? And what's the thing? You keep repeating a lie. It becomes the truth and reality of that person. And now these people want to pick up a rifle and go say, I'm saving my country. I'm going to kill that son of a bitch. And
Right.
end up at the same time killing the spirit of the country, because I believe in my heart still, Ms. Val, that the overwhelmingly 50 to 60% of this nation still has a grip on morality and reality. And
I
those
agree with you.
people's souls sunk out of them when they heard what had happened. Not because they didn't agree with them ideologically, but the fact everybody called that, and 50, 60% saw it for what it was. It was a political assassination.
Absolutely.
Because Charlie Kirk had walked into the lion's den, right? Walked into the lion's den and said, guess what? I'm here. He was Jonah in the whale, right? I'm here, right? And the devil had to shoot the arrow from up above.
You bet.
Right? The devil had to shoot that arrow and to say, oh, no, we can't do this. We got to keep you in line. You came too far into the lion's den. Huh? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we came too far in the lion's den.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Well,
60% of the souls of the nation just sunk out of them, don't know what to do because they don't understand what they saw.
exactly. Well, we have to help them understand what they saw. That's
Right.
kind of alternative media's job right now, is to really try to educate through this, because what are we going to count on? The media they're watching is from outer space.
Right. Right. Literally.
If you heard Charlie's wife's speech, Erica Kirk.
Yes,
Did
I
you
heard
hear
it.
her speech?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I connected with something very intense while she was speaking through my tissues, because I really was sobbing. She said, You people have no idea what you've unleashed. And let me tell you, my thought process went back to understanding much better than I ever have who Yeshua and Mary Magdalene were. They were from the royal bloodlines. They were two people that loved each other and helped create this beautiful religion, however you want to define it. It could have been beautiful Christianity. It could have been a beautiful new formation of the Jewish religion. It could have been a beautiful formation of Hinduism and Buddhism. But what happened was, when Jesus got taken down, or Yeshua, whatever you care to call him, he passed the message on to Mary and his disciples. Mary, by the way, her real name was Miriam, which happens to be a Jewish name. The men took charge of that immediately and said, we will not have a woman in charge. We have to rewrite this stuff so we can stay in control. Does this sound familiar to anybody living in our world today?
Sure does.
Okay, so due to the fact that we have this beautiful internet, and believe me, during the time of JFK, Martin Luther King, we had no way to find out what the hell actually happened, what went on, who really was Hitler, what really happened in Austria, what really happened in Russia. We don't frickin' know. All this stuff was rewritten to serve the narrative, all put together in a way that they could control the people. Every religion, I'm sorry. So if we look at Erica right now, Charlie Kirk's wife, that woman, through her anger and through her misery of being left with two babies and knowing what her husband's message was, do you see where I'm going with this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We have an opportunity now like we haven't had in 2,000 years. And I mean to tell you, if anybody watched the vigil at the Kennedy Center, I think it was Sunday night, Kennedy Jr. got up there and he made the most incredible speech I think I've ever heard, without deep emotion, but with an explanation about how these holes in your heart that he got when his uncle was shot, when his father was shot, his whole family legacy, the post-traumatic stress disorder, and how you take the time to fill that hole back in with the ability to move forward with the message. That's exactly what we need right now. That's exactly who we are right now. And when you see people wearing t-shirts that say, I am Charlie, I am Yeshua, I am Charlie, I am seeing what has happened and what is happening, because evil has been let out from